I know you said that numerous people have reached out to you since our interview about a year and a half ago, and I'd love to hear all of the emails, but one in particular that you were just talking about, reading beforehand, was about sort of the moral issue of transmedia, and I'm probably not saying it correctly, but can you, what the email was about?
Sure, this is the real common question that I get from people is transmedia immoral? And it's kind of, first time someone asked me that, I thought it was, I didn't really understand what they were saying. And like digging in with these people that have those questions, it's sort of rooted in, is this just capitalistic exploitation of the audience? Is this manipulation of the audience? Are you taking advantage of people in a bad way? And is this just a big cash grab that you don't really care about the people, you just care about taking their money? And there's all these issues that people have with it. And my typical answer is that, like anything, transmedia can be used in an immoral way, of course. Like, it depends on who the creator is, and it depends on what their intentions are and what they're trying to do. Are there people out there trying to just use it as a cash grab? Are they like just capitalistic jerks that are just trying to take advantage of opportunities? And of course, just like regular film producers, they're doing the same thing, or television producers, or like, morality doesn't have anything to do with platforms. It's all about the intention of the creator and the intention of the business people that are trying to sort of propagate this idea and this model and whatever they're trying to do in the venture. So is transmedia immoral per se? Of course not. If my kitchen knife isn't immoral per se, if I use my kitchen knife to stab you, then all of a sudden I've committed an immoral thing with a morally neutral object, right? So it all depends on the intention. So I'm when it comes to like the capitalism aspect of it, like, I'm very passionate that, we were speaking about this before, I'm very passionate that artists don't have to be starving artists, that artists don't have to choose between making money and doing their art. And that's usually, people feel like it's a binary choice. People feel like I can either sell out and make money, or I can pursue my art, which is somehow more pure, right? And really, I think in traditional entertainment, that has been the choice that people make. Is I can either make studio movies or superhero crap, or I can make the movies that I love. And so you're either forced into these two options. I think I'm not opposed to making money. I'm very much a capitalist. I'm very much like, I love the fact that we live in America that allows us to create an opportunity to be able to maximize our brand and maximize our opportunities in a way that allows me to feed my family and have this be my career. I think that's awesome. What I want for every screenwriter out there, every filmmaker out there, every producer, every director is I want them to be able to do their dream as their career. I don't want them to work at Burger King and make movies on the weekend. Like, no offense against Burger King. I don't want them to have to like work at Starbucks or Hobby Lobby as they try to like have filmmaking be their side hustle. Like, if they're doing that, that's awesome. That's what you have to do. But eventually, what my wish is for them is they get to a level where they can just do filmmaking full time. And in order to get there, you either need to be independently wealthy, or you need to be able to understand how to generate revenue. This is the entertainment is creating product that people will purchase, buy, spend their money on. And if you don't make stuff that people want to spend money on, then you're not going to be in business very long. No one's going to invest into your stuff, or no one's going to come see it. There's no revenue flowing. Therefore, you can't make this your business. It's a very practical question. I don't think that's immoral to say, I want to be a career creator. I want filmmaking to be my career. In order to do that, you have to figure out how to make money. Now, here's the cool thing about transmedia. This is why I think transmedia is the opposite of immoral, really, if you think about it in the terms of capitalism. If let's say a filmmaker wants to make a very non-commercial art house film that that's very specific, niche-y, that breaks all the conventions. It's very like Terrence Malick, right? It's like Terrence Malick without Terrence Malick's brand. And so that's probably not going to get a wide distribution. It's probably not going to get picked up, but this is the thing that's in their heart that they want to make. So if that's all you have, then you're going to have to make the choice. Do I make this movie and have to do it on a small budget, low budget, no budget, and do it on the weekends because nobody's going to invest in it, or it's not going to get options, it's not going to get picked up? I can either make that movie, or I can change it to then add the 3-act structure, and they can read a Blake Snyder book, and they can add the Save the Cat stuff in it and make it commercial, and then all of a sudden now I can sell it, I can get the investment, etc. I can get distribution for it, etc., etc. So both options, I think, are bad options. One option has you being a starving artist, which I think sucks. The other option has you selling your soul in order and not doing the thing that's in your heart just in order to be able to have this be your full-time gig. That's the binary option. Now in a transmedia model, that binary choice isn't the choice anymore. Now you can say, you know what? I'm going to do my weird Terrence Malick art house film, and I'm going to do it as is. Now if you have that as part of a broader IP, now all you have to say is, if this thing isn't going to make money, which it probably won't, what are the other things that I can do to surround this film with that will generate my revenue? So if I can point to now a novel, or a digital thing, or a comic book series, or a mobile game, or whatever it is that you can surround this thing with, and these other things can generate revenue, now this weird art house thing could almost be like a loss leader that fuels the revenue and the interest of these other things. And so it doesn't matter. The way the studios work is they work on a resource allocation model, to where if they release 14 movies in a year, they know that all 14 movies aren't going to be solvent. They're all not going to make money. They hope and pray out of the 14 movies they release a year that there's 4 tent poles that overperform to make up for the deficits of the movies that financially failed. And they know that moving into the year. Like every studio knows that everything they're going to do isn't going to be a hit. They know that most of the stuff is going to lose money. There's going to be a few things that make money. Those things uphold the tent. That's why they call them tent poles. So it's called a resource allocation model. If you take that same thinking and apply that to a transmedia project, and if you say, I know my art house movie is not going to make money, that's totally fine. You still do that because that's what's in your heart. But now you just need something else to overperform and make enough money that it compensates for the deficit created by the film. Because the film costs money to make, which means it's going to, technically that one element is going to lose money, but as long as you make that up somewhere else, now it's a net gain. And so usually when I talk to indie filmmakers that are very precious about their one thing, and they don't want to change it because they don't want to make the binary choice, they're less precious about things in other platforms, right? Like they're fine with having a New York Times best-selling novel and doing a very commercialized novel. They just don't want to change their movie, right? They're fine with having a very successful mobile game like Clash of Clans, but they just don't want to change their movie. And so all of a sudden, for the people that don't want to make the binary choice, the transmedia model is the perfect thing for them, because now they can figure out how to maintain the artistic integrity of the one thing that they love while figuring out how to drive revenue from other places. And with that, you can still be able to better position that for investment. I had one filmmaker that was telling me, he said, I make movies for me. I don't care if anyone likes them, and I don't care if they make money. I make it for me. And I said, that's great. I said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to be a career filmmaker. My question is, how are you going to finance it? Can you imagine going to an investor interview and saying, I want you to give me $1 million to make my movie, but I don't care if anyone likes it and I don't care if it makes money? It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. And so, but if you walk into the investor and say, listen, my movie is going to be weird, it's going to be art house, it's going to be niche. I don't care if this makes money, but that's okay because I'm making money here, 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 and it's all going to work together, right? But my movie, the artistic integrity of my movie is going to be maintained. That investor, if all the numbers line up and the bottom line lines up, now you at least have a puncher's chance where before you had zero chance. So all of a sudden, like, you don't have to make that choice, which I think changes that calculation a little bit about whether this is a good thing or a bad thing. Is this just commercialism gone awry, or is it actually a tool for independent artists to be able to do the things that they love for the rest of their life? And that's that. I think shifting that thinking is a big shift. Now, the other thing about this is that I think is really important is something that I call Soapbox. A soapbox is basically the theme, the message of your film. Like, how does your film, how does your script tap into like the passion that's in your heart? What are you trying to say? What is your commentary on the world? How do you make your project feel not just cool but important because it's tapped into something? I think the greatest art from throughout history comes from the passion and perspective and the heart of the creator. I think, things like something like Get Out, that came from like the heart of the creator, and it had an importance attached to it, not just a cool factor. It wasn't just a cool high concept. It felt like an important film because it was. And I think when you read Hemingway or you listen to an Aretha Franklin song, there's something about the passion and the authenticity about what these creators want to say with their art that makes this art sustainable and makes the art resonate better with the audience. I think Tarantino, every film that he makes is just dripping with his passion, and you can see it, and it comes across in a very soulish, intangible way, but the audience receives it differently. So if in today's world, it's important to do things and to create things not just because you have a cool high concept idea. It's because you're actually passionate about an issue, passionate about something, a perspective, something of importance that gives your story a moral depth to it that is interesting. Now that could be in something like Get Out or something like Roma. Or on the other end, I think George Lucas was saying something very important and specific when he created Star Wars. He was supposed to direct Apocalypse Now before Francis Ford Coppola because he was so passionate about the Vietnam War. The movie got delayed, so he went and did Star Wars instead, which I think ultimately was better for Apocalypse Now. But he took all the passion he had for imperialism and colonialism and overreaching government, and that same passion that made him a hippie back in the 60s as a college student, he poured that into like a larger IP. Personally, I don't think that Black Panther technically is one of the best pictures as far as like the Oscar conversation. I don't think the technical aspect of Black Panther is best picture worthy. But Black Panther had I think solid superhero technicality. I think it had great costumes, the whole thing. But Black Panther was rooted and tapped into an importance that elevates the film above just being a normal superhero movie. It's important to people, it's important to culture, and it connects to people's hearts because of what it stands for. And so if creators understand what they want to say with their art, not just how to make money, but what they want to say. Like, what are you trying to say as a person, as a human being? What are you trying to convey? Like the world's on fire in 1,000 different ways. And filmmakers have an opportunity and to have a platform to actually say something about the world. And in today's environment, that's actually wanted and desired by the audience. It's not like the Gen Z and the millennial generation, they're not like my generation or my parents' generation where we just wanted popcorn stuff. They want something real and authentic and important. And so I say all this to say, as a filmmaker, if you have something important to say, and if you put it in your movie and you release your movie, some people will hear your message and they'll be the people that watch your movie. But in today's oversaturated, commoditized, highly competitive entertainment landscape, not everybody watches movies, right? What about the people that don't go to the movies and all they do is listen to music? Or play video games? Or what about the people that don't watch TV or movies at all and just they play board games all the time? There's so much stuff that people, what about the kids that all they do is they have their nose in a book and they just read all the time? Do they not need to hear your message as well? If it's so important to you, if your message is actually important, if you have commentary on immigration issues or racial issues or political issues, or not just any political hot button issues, but if you're passionate about anything, then doesn't the person that's in the basement playing board games, don't they need to hear that as well? The kid that just sits on their phone and plays mobile games, don't they need to hear what you have to say as well? Of course they do. If your message is actually important, of course they do. All of a sudden, in order to reach all those people, you have to diversify the way, you have to diversify your IP. Because once you start looking at transmedia less as a cash grab and more as an opportunity to deploy your message and your passion and your heart to everybody doing everything around the world, all of a sudden makes a lot more sense, right? Now your IP is becoming all things to all people, right? And being able to operate and connect that message with everybody's heart, which then leads them back into a community of people, a community of other fans that all share that same message, and that's what makes IP important, right? So talking about this question of immorality, I think again it goes back to the motivations. But if your motivation is I want to change the world in a positive way, I want to impact the world with this very important thing that's coming out of my soul, then transmedia is the perfect thing for you, because now you're getting it to everybody that needs it, and not everybody does it. No one does everything, but everybody does something, if that makes sense. So nobody plays video games, watches movies, listens to music. Nobody does everything because there's so much stuff, right? But everybody does something. And in order to reach everybody in this world, now we have to diversify the way we deploy the message or deploy the passion. And that's where transmedia becomes beneficial.